Greetings and welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be doing gameplay from the game Rattenkrieg here. This is the solitaire man-to-man combat game in Stalingrad, and it is from Yaah magazine, issue number 14, back in June of 2020. It's designed by Gottardo Zancani, and we're going to jump right into that. So I just wanted to kind of show the cover here before we get down into setup and all that stuff. Okay, so first thing we're going to do here is we're going to pick our scenario. So the game comes with several. There's a couple more on the second page here. We'll start with the very first one, City Patrol. Now, as you can see, you've got two different map setups, and the game comes with 4 maps, and you have to cut them out. And I'll show you them in a moment. But you have 2 different layouts. So we're going to roll 1 single die, and on a 1 to 4, we'll use setup number 1, and on 5, 6, we'll use setup number 2. All right, we're going to roll 1 die. It's a 3, so we'll be using map layout number 1. Now, for simplicity's sake, we're going to do A and B. Now, I think you're supposed to cut these off, right? These are 2 separate pieces here. We also have a C and a D, but I elected to leave them on because there is a scenario that specifies you're supposed to use C. I think it is. I think it's the very last one, the tractor works. If I can turn the page here. Yes. So that one actually requests that you use C, which is this guy right here. You can see it's got a large building in the middle. That is likely why. Now we're going to play just the basic game here without any of the advanced rules because I want to keep it relatively simple. There are, of course, as I just mentioned, some advanced rules like having multi-level buildings and the effects of having a heavy machine gun and things like that. So the second thing we have to do here with our scenario, right, once we've set out our map, which we have, so we're using this layout right here with A and B. Event markers, we're going to put out, we're going to get E1 through E15. Those look like this when they are unrevealed, and then they would have a number on the side. You can see this one is 7 on the other side, I should say. So I probably will just put them in a cup. Oh, okay, so you don't have to put them in a cup, sorry. It says place 1 random marker on each zone of Sector 2 containing a building. Place the remaining markers on the zones of Sector 1 containing a building, 1 per zone, as far away as possible from the entry zone. Okay. There's our enemy presence table that we'll be rolling on, the hidden enemy table, and our entry zone is at the top. So our objective is to reveal all event markers. The scenario ends at the end of the game turn where there are no remaining face-down event markers. Entry zone, place your units in the top left zone of Sector 1. And so we already did the map layout part. So I'm going to take, looking at the buildings here, we're supposed to put 1 random marker on each zone of Sector 2 containing a building. Okay, so this is Sector 2 at the bottom. So we're just going to take some markers here and we'll put them in. I don't think they necessarily have to be inside the building. So I'm just going to put them in zones that have a building. And there's a bunch of them. We're going to have to reveal all of these guys, I think. And then we also put one in every zone of Sector 1 that contains a building as far away as possible from the entry zone. We have a lot of buildings here. So entry zone is here. So we're going to place the rest of these out, I guess, 1 per zone until we run out, which we're going to run out here pretty soon. And we did. Okay, so this is what we've got. Okay, so now here on this page, you can see we've got the 2 different squads you can have under your command for this. You can play either side. So if you wanted to play as the Soviets, you can do that. And if you wanted to play as the Germans, you could also do that. So I think for this first one, let's play as the Soviets. So we're going to get 1 squad leader, 1 NCO, 1 gunner with a light machine gun, and 5 riflemen. So I will do that. Okay, so I have 5 rifles here. And I'm just going to put them in the building. You can stack 5 in a group. So for now, I'll put 3 there. And since we have, we'll put so this one's got 3 stripes. This will be our squad leader. I'll put him with the light machine gun, which is this guy right here. We'll take these 2 and put them with the smaller group to have a total of 4 there in that group. And we'll put our NCO, which is this guy right here. We'll put him with the first group. So they're in the same building, but they're in different parts of the building. So you have inside, outside, and we'll get into the mechanics of everything here in a little bit, and I'll probably zoom in more. I do want to add the dice tower to the shot as well. Something like that. And because we have to roll some more for the ammo that we'll have and the support that we'll get. So let's roll on the ammo table first. So we roll 1 die. We got a 6. So 6 is you receive 1d6 grenades. So we're going to roll. And we get a 2. So we got 2 grenades. Now the grenade markers look like this. And there's a 1 side and a 2 side. So whatever side is facing up. Because the reverse is a demo charge. So we're going to put, actually we'll give each one of these. Now there are also group markers so that you can actually keep your men off the board. And the group markers look like, where is it? Right here. So you have a G1 and a G2. And then, of course, there's a flip side for the Soviets. So we could put just the 1 marker on there and have all these guys kind of off to the side, which I will probably do, but for now we'll leave them there so that you can see them kind of on the map. Now we have a support table, and you have to roll 2d6 for this. You can see 2 is no support, 3 will give us a flamethrower, 4 will give us a rifle, 5 to 9 is nothing, 10 is a submachine gun, 11 is a heavy machine gun, and 12 is nothing. So I have 2, one's green, one's red. We'll just roll with this. And we got a 6, and a 6 is no support. All right. So we're off to a rip-roaring start here. So the sequence of play is pretty straightforward. Basically, you kind of go through various phases. And so we've already done this, the briefing phase, where you do scenario selection, squad prep, and scenario setup. Then you have the mission phase, and each game turn will have a new activation marker, and then you execute it for either yourself or the enemy, and that's pretty much how it works. Now we have 4 counters, 2 for the enemy, 2 for the player. I'm going to drop them in a cup, right? And we'll use that to select our activation marker. So the first thing we're going to do here is we'll draw an activation marker, and I'm not going to look. I'll just reach in here, and we got a player. So we got a player activation. I'll put that out. Okay. Now, when you so each group, okay, or it's a unit or group, right? So I'm going to spread these guys out so we can see their component parts, right? And so we'll have the top group be group 1, and the bottom group, oops, yeah, that's right, it's a total of 8. This guy's sideways. Okay, now I'll explain, and these should both be 1s, right? Okay, and then we'll take our, where did I put those? Right here. We'll put G2 here and G1 here. They didn't really come out great. A little hanger on there. All right. Okay, so you activate the groups. So this is a unit and that's a unit. So we split our forces into 2. Now, as we mentioned, we have to reveal all of our event markers to complete the scenario. So you have 6 action points per group, and everybody in the group has to take the same action. So movement You can move. It will depend what you're doing, where you're moving, how much that'll cost, and we'll get into that here in a moment. You can fire, and there's two types of fire. There's quick fire, which has a negative die roll modifier and costs 3 action points, and there's regular fire, which does not have a die roll modifier, and it costs 5 action points. To enter close combat costs 2. You can attempt to spot an enemy unit. We don't know for sure what's an enemy unit yet. There's going to be enemies on the map. We just haven't found them yet. To spot them costs 2. Rallying costs 4. Using one of your special weapons, which we do not have. Actually, we do. We have a grenade. That costs a variable amount depending. Exchange equipment costs 1 action point. To hide costs 4 action points. So as you might guess, Rattenkrieg, right? War of the Rats. This is street fighting in Stalingrad during the battle thereof. So a lot of it's going to be, there's also sewer movement that we're not going to use in this particular scenario. So you have open spaces and you have building spaces. And there are lines, the black lines separate things. So these are 2 separate spaces within this zone. Each big white square is a zone. And we'll move our forces in whatever direction we wish to go first to try and clear all of these event markers, the 15 event markers that are out there. And when you get adjacent to a zone with them is when they get revealed. Okay, so for movement, the first thing we're going to do is you can spend 1. So we're going to move from building to open in the same zone, costs 1 action point, leaving us with 5. Now we would be crossing into another zone if we went here, which would also cost us 1 because, no, I'm sorry, it would cost 2 because we're moving to a new zone. So that would be a total of 3. And then we could enter the building and that would cost us 2, which would give us 5 and leave us with 1. Now, you can do multiple actions, so you can move and then do something else. If you fire, that has to be the last action of your activation. But the other things you can kind of stack in whichever way you want to do it. So you can rally a unit and then maybe move it, as long as, because rally costs 4, you'd only have 2 left, so there's a limited amount of movement you could do. But if you were in the open, you can move into a building for 2, if in a building in the same zone. So if we move here to here, like I said, that costs 3. And then if we wanted to go back into the building, it would cost 1. Actually, so that would be 4. Sorry, it doesn't cost 2. It costs 1 here, then 2 more for 3, and now we can move into there, and it would cost 2 more, so we would be at 4. The red dots indicate, there's red dots and yellow dots that indicate different types of buildings, as well as buildings that don't have dots. And we'll talk about that too once it comes up. But for now, we just moved that guy there. So we have 2 movement points left, and we don't really have anything we can do. If we move adjacent to a zone containing a face-down event marker, you must immediately reveal it. So I think because we can move from here to here, that this means we have to reveal this one. So I'm going to flip it over, and it's number 6. Right? You might say, well, maybe it's a 9, but based on the orientation of the question mark, you just flip it over and it's a 6. So that's number 6. We go back to our trusty book here, the magazine, and event numbers 1 through 7 are nothing. So this is a non-factor. So we pull that one out, and now that. Again, now I can move again if I want to. We can move from here out to the open again, which will cost 1, but that really doesn't do us much good because I would need 2 to move over here, which would then enable us to reveal these 2. So we're just going to say that they are done and move on to the other group, because you could also hide, which would cost 4, but again, I don't think that's necessary right now. So let's move group. Actually, no, we only can move 1 group. So we draw another marker. So there's a 2/3 chance this will be an enemy marker. And it is. All right. So we got an enemy marker. So now we have to do the enemy's action. Now, since none of our none of our units are adjacent to an event marker, we have to, and there are no enemy units on the map, we have to roll on the table for a hidden enemy unit. So you've got your hidden enemy table right here, okay? So 1 and 2 is nothing, or 1 and 3 is nothing. There's no 2 on here. See, 1 and 3, 4 and 5 and 6. So I guess 1 through 3 is nothing. So let's roll. It's a 2, so that's nothing. So basically that just means that that event or that turn for them accomplishes nothing. Now we got a 50-50 chance, and we got a player token. All right, so the next one will be an enemy activation. All right, so now we can activate our other group, and we're going to move them as well. So if I go 1, 2, 3, then I can go, well, we have to reveal an adjacent event, and I think we only can reveal 1, but this will guarantee that they can reveal 1 next turn if I do this one or that one, whichever one I don't do. So we'll do this one. Flip it over. It's 13. So 13 in our thing here is enemy presence check with a DRM of 1, +1. So as you can see, 12, 13, 14 are enemy presence check with a +1 DRM. So here's our enemy check table. So we're going to have an enemy in this hex. And let's roll to see what that enemy is. It is a 6. 6 becomes a 7, but if that's 6 or more is 2 rifles. So 2 riflemen. All the counters in this game are single soldiers. So we're going to put 2 riflemen in here, 2 German rifles, right? And we'll put them in there, like so. I won't stack them. They'll be in the same zone. Okay, so now that they've done that, we will, since we spent 3 to get where we are right now, we can move again and go, we should assault them, I think. So what we'll do is we will use a quick fire action. We have 3 left because we moved. Now, this is risky. And again, I'm kind of just trying to show you how the game works as opposed to, necessarily playing to win. So I figure I'll show you how a fire attack works, and then maybe later on we'll do a close assault, and that way you can see kind of the various things that can happen in the game. We also have a grenade, but we're not going to use that right now. So we're going to have this group, and you have to choose which unit you're going to attack, so we can pick one of these 2 guys to attack. So I think we'll just attack this one. They're the same, so it doesn't, and I have them up on their other side too. They should actually be over here. Okay. All right, so now that we're going to do a fire attack, we should talk about what the counters mean, the numbers on the counters, right? Okay, so let's just use the rule book. It's easier, right? So here we've got a counter, right? So the nationality is pretty evident. The Germans are gray, and the Soviets are, the kind of tannish color. The unit name, its weapon, its rate of fire, okay? And we'll talk about what all that means. Then you've got its aim die effect. There's letters here, and we'll see those. Then short range, long range, and out of ammo number. Okay. So, all right. So I screwed this up, and we're not going to do an attack. So here you have the enemy presence table, light machine guns and rifles. That we drew 2 rifles here. Place the enemy units on a zone adjacent to the event marker location with no event marker or enemy units, and at a distance of 2 or more from the active group. If this is not possible, place the enemy units in the EM location. So we can't put them in adjacent with no EM. So I think they could go here or here, which would be a distance of 2. So I think that's what we will do. We'll put them in here. Because that changes things now, right? So now they still have 3, and I could use 3 to move into this zone and into the building. So that's what we're going to do. Now do we have to reveal this one? We probably do. Plus we have this one. Well, we have 3 now. And we can, I think we only reveal 1 per action. So we'll reveal this one, I guess. Although this is a separate zone. So I think the one we'd have to reveal is this one. So these 2 aren't adjacent because we have a zone in between. I'm going to flip this guy. And number 12, which we already know is the same as what we just had with having to check. So we have to roll again. This back in. And we got a 4 this time. And a 4 on the presence table is 3 rifle. So again, we can't put them here. We can put them up here. And I think that's, or we can put them up here. Maybe there would be better. So let me grab 3 more German rifles here. And I'm just going to stack them. They're all the same, right? So there you can see, if you look at it, all the things that we saw, the range, the aim, which is K, and the rate of fire, which is a 1. So we're just going to put this in here. All right, now that ends that activation, and we'll draw another chit. And of course, it's enemy because we don't have any more chits. All right, so now we go back to the enemy bot, the enemy activation procedure. If there is 1 or more non-activated enemy group on the map, select the enemy group nearest to the player units and use the bot to activate. Okay, so we've got some here and here. So they're both adjacent to this guy, and neither is adjacent to this one. So this is the guy who's closest. So let's go with this one because it's the stronger unit. So now we have to look at the bot. So the bot has 2 sides. We have an attacker side, A, and a defender side, D. So it's a flow chart, so it's pretty easy to read. You do start. Group is engaged in close combat. No. Group contains pinned units. No. Hidden player group in line of sight. No. Player group in short range. Yes. Fire is possible. Yes. So now we roll a die. Okay. Yeah. So actually, this is going to determine which group we attack, because if you look here, right, we're here. So you have you roll a die, and if it's a 1 or a 2, you would execute fire against the largest, and if it's a 3 to 6, or 3 to 5 rather, you would execute it against the nearest target, and if it's a 6, you don't fire. So let's roll 1 die, and it's a 1. So 1 and a 2 is the largest target. Both are the same in terms of size. So I would say we would then fire against this guy because he's closer. All right, so if we do fire, okay, in order to attack, the target of the firing unit must be in line of sight and not hidden. In addition, the target must be within the long range of the firing weapon. Player units can execute a fire attack. Enemy units can attack as a result of their activation. In any case, a group can only perform 1 single attack per activation. So each attack is started by rolling 1 colored die, the aim die, and a number of white dice equal to the rate of fire. That's true. I do need to do that. So the rate of fire is only 1 for these rifle squads. So that makes it pretty simple. So I'm borrowing 3 dice from Purple Haze because it's out and on a different table. So I'm going to roll here along with our colored die. So I'm going to roll these 4 aim die and 1 for each of the rifle squads. So I'm going to go shake. Okay, so we got a 6 for the aim, and then a 6, a 1, and a 2. Okay. Actually, I needed to roll those separately. So we'll keep this, and I'm just going to roll 1 of these because I don't know which one to take. All right, it's a 6, which is what we had before. So you add them together, and that's a 12, which is obviously a big number. So let's see. Now, you do have attack rolls that are modified, right? So here you can see it's aim plus the rate of fire die, right? And then you look at the attack roll to be modified. +2 in the road, no. Not a flamethrower, not in the open. We're not using the second floor thing. We're not using scoped rifle. They are not in a heavy building. They are not, the attacker's not using quick fire, and they're not pinned. Okay, so then you calculate the range. The range is 1. So if it's within the short range of the weapon, you score a hit if the modified attack roll is equal to or greater than 8, which it is. Okay? So for each hit, one random unit in the target group is pinned. A pinned unit that receives a second pinned result is instead killed. Now we have 5. So I'm going to roll the green die. If it's a 6, I'll re-roll it. It's a 1. So that we have 4, I should have said. And I could have gotten a D8 out and done this the easy way, but we'll just use 1 rather. So I'm going to flip my squad leader over, and he's now pinned. And again, if he gets a second one, because we have to do this again, so we'll roll another die. Oh, 6 and a 1. So that's a 7, and we know it doesn't get modified. So the second unit misses. And now we'll do the third unit. And we got a 6, and again, that is a miss. So they did 2 attacks, and they had a miss. That is the end of turn 1. So we put all of these guys back in the cup. And we draw another chit out, and we get an enemy again. So again, we're going to follow our procedure. If there's one or more non-activated enemy group on the map, which there is, and so we're going to use these guys again, because they're the closest to one of our units, and we're going to go through this bot again. Okay, not engaged in close combat. Our group contains pinned units. No, because we're not rallying. Hidden player group in line of sight. No. Player group in short range. Yes. Fire is possible. Yes. So we're going to roll again. We'll roll our die. We got a 4. And that's execute fire against the nearest target, which is what we would do anyway. So we're just going to follow the same procedure. I'm going to roll. And we got a 4. That's nothing. Second unit got a 7. We'll use it. Still nothing. And the third unit gets an 8. So that is a second hit. Now we have to roll the die again. Okay, I grabbed the D8. We'll just roll this and have it. It's a 3. So that would be a 2. So that would be this guy. A 3 or 4 would be a 2. All right. So now we've got 2 pinned units for us. And that was their second attack, I believe. Right? Or was it the third? Shoot, I totally forgot if that was their second or third. Well, since I can't remember, they got another hit. And so we'll do the same thing again. Oh, we lost our squad leader. So, say it ain't so, Sergeant. He's dead. Okay. Well, that sucked. All right, let's draw another chit. And maybe I shafted myself there by, oh, look at this. Again. All right, well, that means we get 2 actions at least after this. So we know we're going to be going down the same path. And I'm just going to roll 1 die. And it's a 5. And a 5 is the nearest target again. So they're going to serve up some more punishment. 2, that's nothing. That's 1. I need to remember. 5 is nothing. And then they get 1 more. Last one. 7. Okay, we dodged a bullet that time. And now it'll be our turn. I'll just pull one of the chits out. Like so. So we know what it's going to be now. Okay, so let's rally. We'll activate group 1. And we'll try to rally this guy. So for rallying, a rally action is used to remove the pin status from a unit. In order to rally, it must undergo a successful morale check. So we're going to spend 4 action points and roll 1 die. If the roll is 3 or more, the check is successful. So we're going to take our green die, roll, and got a 6, so it's successful. He's no longer pinned. So that's useful, because that was our light machine gunner, actually. All right, so they have 2 left, which isn't enough to really do much with. Because we could move here, but then we'd be right in the sights of them, although their activation is past, because they don't have any more activations. Oh, that's what I screwed up. After they fired the first time, they had been activated, so we would have used this guy, and I screwed it up because they have 2 groups, I guess. So you can't activate the same group twice. So I did mess that up. At least I think so. I know from our perspective, and you only have 2 activations per side. So again, we rallied, so we have 2 left. And if I moved here, that would be 2, but we'd be in the open, which would normally be kind of okay, except they're going to get in action at some point, and moving in the open automatically gives them the opportunity to fire at you. So we're not going to do that. So we're just going to eat the last 2, I think, because I don't think there's anything we can really do. Special weapon. Let me see something here. If I can, how much does it cost to use a grenade? Grenades. Standard attack. Grenades can only be used to attack the same zone or an adjacent one. Use the standard attack procedure, considering the range. Okay, so we would need 3 to do that as well. So we're not going to throw our grenade. So that ends that. So now we'll go to group 2 here. All right, and let's see. Maybe we should move. That would cost 3. Actually, no, it would cost 2 to go there, I think. Or maybe it would cost 3, and then we could go there for 1 more. Or we can go here. So we'll do that. We're going to move to this building, which will now reveal this event, which is number 2, and number 2 is nothing. So get rid of this event for no cost. Okay, so that costs us 3 because we move through this technically open zone. So that costs 2 to move to this zone and 1 into the building, so that's 3. And now we are within their line of sight, I think, because basically you have to kind of see if you can draw a line from the dot or something, the middle of the, so like that. And if it touches a building, it's from unit to unit. If it touches a building, which it doesn't, then they would be in line of sight. So we do have 3. I'm unclear on whether these guys are hidden or not. Like, we know they're there, but I'm going to go with that they're hidden until we actually spot them. But by the same token, wouldn't that mean that my guys were hidden too? So I think for expediency's sake, we're going to say that they are not hidden. But what we could maybe do is, see, our goal is really to reveal all of these, right? So I think we could probably just move. This is a heavy building too, which is nice from a defensive standpoint, because down here we have a yellow dot, which is not a heavy building. But we also would be able to reveal, of course, again, to move here is going to cost us 3. So we'd be in the open, and I don't want to do that. So let's do a quick fire. So all a quick fire does is you get a -1 on your die roll. Okay, so we will use our, so this is group, you know what? I took the wrong one, actually. Looking at it, this is the group that's up here. So this guy is the one who should be eliminated. So we'll take him out, and we'll take our squad leader back. If I can find where I put him. There he is. All right, so he should be here. I'm sorry. That's group 1. This is group 2. So group 1 is the one that's been taking the brunt of the fire attacks here. So let's just do this. We're going to have these guys fire because they can see them as well. Now this building is not heavy, so that does not matter then. And so we're going to take a -1 on the fire. So let's start with 3. So with 3, everybody gets 1 shot. Okay, we've got a light machine gun which gets 4 attack dice, so that's nice. Our 2 rifles get 1 each. Our squad leader with his submachine gun gets 2, and then we have the grenade which has 1. So we'll throw our grenade and get rid of it. So we will roll our, no, we'll use the green one here. The green and the white. And we got a 7, so that is not a hit because it gets modified down to a 6. Okay, so that's the grenade. We've used it. It's gone. Now we'll let him fire. He's got 2, so he gets to roll 2 dice. And he gets a 5. You roll multiple attacks. I'm sorry. So you don't roll them all at the same time. So let's redo that. We got a 4 and a 4, but because of the die roll modifier, it becomes a 7, so that's not a hit. So that's his first one. Then here's his second shot. That's a 9, becomes an 8, so that is a hit. So one of these guys gets pinned. Okay, and now we move to this one who has 4. So we're going to do 4 attacks. And that's a 10, so we'll pin the other one. And then we'll roll again. He's got 3 more shots. That's an 8, becomes a 7, so that's nothing. 7, nothing. And last one, an 8, nothing. Okay, so now we got 2 more shots, 1 from each of these riflemen. That's a 10, so that is good. So that will eliminate one of these guys. And now our final rifleman gets a 10 as well, so we eliminated both of them. So that was good. And that is the end of this turn, so we'll put these back in. And we will pull another one out, and we get player. Okay, so player goes first. So let's use group 1 and attack these guys. So we'll use our grenade first. Now they're adjacent. They're not in a heavy building. This is not a red dot. So, and it's not quick fire. We're going to use 5 action points. And that's an 8, so that's a hit. So they get 1 pinned result. And so the grenade was effective this time. Now we'll use, we only have 3 shots with the rest of these guys because we lost our squad leader. 10, that's a second hit. So we've got 2 pinned now. And I'm just assigning them one by one just to keep it simple. And then we get an 11. So all 3 are pinned. And that is the, the grenade. Yeah, the grenade didn't work. So we've got 3 pinned. So that's good. All right. So that is the end of their activation. We'll draw again. We get an enemy. So these guys here, because they are pinned, right? So you come here and you say, not engaged in close combat. Group contains pinned units. Yes. Rally pinned units. No move for this group during this activation. So they're going to roll a die for each one, and they need 3 or higher. Okay, so the first one is good. The second one is good. And the third one is not. So they still have a pinned unit, and they cannot move. Okay, now we draw again. Whoops, pull them both out. We get the other enemy. So they've been activated. So if there are no... do we have anybody adjacent to an event? We do not. Otherwise, roll on the hidden enemy table. All right, so we're going to roll on the hidden enemy table again. Got a 3 and a 3. Hidden enemy, 1 to 3 is nothing. Okay. All right, so no harm, no foul. We know that this is going to be the other player one. Put it out. So this would be group 2. So what would be the best way to do this? I'm kind of inclined to go this way and then maybe down and back this way rather than crossing through this open area, although I guess it really doesn't matter. If they move here, that would cost them 3, and then they would reveal this, and that's 10, and 10 is enemy presence check with a -2 DRM. So let's roll. We'll roll the green one since it's the Germans. Not that it really matters. 5 -2 is 3. 3 is 1 submachine gun and 2 rifle. All right, so here's a German submachine gun. You can see rate of fire, MP40, and then the 2 rifle squads, which we've already seen because there's 3 of them right there. Now they can't be here. So they have to be at least 2 away and in a zone that does not have an event marker. So that would be this one, I think, or maybe this one. I guess this one would work too. That one doesn't work, and none of these 2 don't. That one doesn't. It could be this one. I think we'll go with that one because it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another, I guess. But that's 3, and now we can move another 3, 2, and 1 to go into this building. And I really don't know if we're allowed to reveal, but we're going to reveal this one. And it's a 9, and a 9 is place a rubble marker on the largest building in the EM zone. So they're the same size. So we'll put a rub, because it costs extra. This is a rubble marker. It costs extra to move there. So we'll put that there. Okay. Now, because of the length of the video, I'm going to cut it here. But before I do, I will show you how close combat works. So let's just say that it's the next turn. I drew a player marker out, and these guys are going to assault here. So we actually probably don't actually have enough action points to do it, but just for the sake of demonstration, we're going to have a close combat here, right? Because to enter close combat, I think costs 4, if I remember correctly. 2. Oh, so we would be able to do it. We would be able to do it because it would cost us 3, right? We could leave the building and go here for 2, or 3 rather, right? Come outside 1, 3, because it's +2, and then enter the building would be 1, which would make it 4, and then enter close combat costs 2. All right, so we're in close combat, and the way it works is if the group is hidden, there would be a +3 modifier. So basically, to resolve a close combat, roll 1 die for each group and apply the following modifiers considering each unit in both groups. Okay, so each group is going to roll 1 die. We're not separating this out. So you get a +3 if the group is hidden, but that's only for the first round. So we're going to say neither one of them is hidden. Then we get +1 for each unit in the combat. So they both have 3, because they have 3 and they have 3. +1 for each unit with a submachine gun. They do not have 1, and neither do the Germans. Okay? -1 for each pinned unit. So the Germans are going to lose 1 because one of their units is pinned. And -1 for each unit equipped with a flamethrower or heavy machine gun. That is not the case either. So it's 3 to 2. Okay. So we're going to roll 1 die for each. I'll roll them together. We'll use the red for the Soviets and the green for the Germans. And the Germans rolled a 3, so they would win the close combat. Because they had 2, so 3 plus 2 is 5. The Russians had 3, so 3 plus 1 is 4, so 5 beats 4. If the total is 2 times or more the total of the loser, which it's not, the losing group suffers 2d3 pinned results. If the total of the winner is simply higher, the losing group suffers 1d3 pinned results. And there's no like getting out of there or whatever. They're now considered engaged. So we roll 1d6. We got a 1. So 1 unit would get pinned. Let me roll again to see who got pinned. It's 2, so it is the first unit. So we'll just flip this guy over and say he's pinned. So now both groups have a pinned unit, and then because they're now engaged, right, as soon as that unit gets activated, we go right here and goes boom right into close combat. So you're going to continue to have rounds of close combat until people get eliminated. Because they're engaged, and when you're engaged, a group can only perform a close combat attack when activated. So it's a fight to the finish. So you better eat your spinach like Popeye. So that's gonna do it for this one. I hope I gave you a good enough idea of how this game works. Obviously, I probably didn't do it, a ton of justice, but this is a pretty cool game. Really small footprint, man-to-man combat, of which there aren't a ton of games that do that. There are some, of course, but I think it's pretty good. I enjoy it, and like I said, it is in Yaah magazine, issue number 14, which you can still pick up if you head over to the Flying Pig Games website and go to Yaah. There's a heading for Yaah in their menu, and you can just say you want to pick up on number 14 there. They also occasionally have sales for the print and play version on Drive-Thru RPG, I think, or War Game Vault. Maybe it's War Game Vault. I don't remember. But you can pick them up there. You can pick it up there regardless, but they do have sales where it's like 50% off sometimes. So if you're a crafty type, and there aren't a lot of components for this, 80-ish counters maybe, and 4 maps that are each, basically the size of a single piece of paper, 2 per page, I guess. So yeah, definitely craftable, good little game. Magazine has some great articles in it, and yeah, that's it. So you got a little gameplay and my thoughts on the game and the magazine, and that's going to do it. I have rambled on long enough. I need a drink. So if you have any comments, you know what to do. Post them in the comment section. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. And other than that, we're going to say adios, amigos. I'm Joe. This is Hexed and Countered. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.